Hey, hockey fans, welcome to the Across the Pond Hockey Podcast YouTube channel. If it's your first time here and you'd like to support us, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. It goes a long way in helping us develop the program. Before we get to tonight's episode, I have to take a minute to thank our wonderful sponsors, starting with the China Hockey Group. The China Hockey Group is a family-oriented group of ice hockey leagues, training programs, and community initiatives geared towards developing hockey in Southeast Asia. From their incredible Junior Tigers program all the way up to the CIHL, which is Hong Kong's elite full-contact ice hockey league, they have a program suitable for players of all ages and abilities. You can also stop by the Warrior Bauer Hockey Shop in Central for all your equipment needs and skate sharpening. Check out their website for more information at ChinaHockeyGroup.com. That's ChinaHockeyGroup.com. Next, we have our friends at Accessory House Global. If you're like me and your headphones look like this, it's time to head to accessoryhouseglobal.com for any accessories you need for your headphones. From cables to carrying cases to new ear pads, they carry products for all the biggest brands. Head to their website at accessoryhouseglobal.com. Use the promo code ATP20 for 20% off your purchase. That's accessoryhouseglobal.com. Next, we have our pals over at Wheel Hub Asia. These guys are committed to building community and bringing accessibility to inline hockey players across Southeast Asia. They're heading into the year 2 of Hong Kong's newest inline league, 3 Inline. You can head to their website for all of your inline hockey needs at wheelhubasia.com. Enter discount code ATP10 for 10% off your purchase. That's wheelhubasia.com. Next, we have our friends at Yardley Brothers Craft Brewery. Folks, if you're a craft brew fan and you're in Hong Kong, then you absolutely have to check out Yardley Brothers' incredible selection of award-winning brews. You can head to the Beer Shack on Llama Island or the Yardley Brothers Cafe and Bistro at 62 Peel Street in Central. If you can't get out of the house, no problem. Just head to their website, yardleybrothers.hk, and you can get their delicious products delivered right to your door. That's yardleybrothers.hk. Last but not least, a huge thank you to Mr. Paul McLean at Sunset Studio in Kennedy Town for always making the podcast sound great. If you're looking for a place to jam with your band or record a new song, check them out on Instagram at sunset_studio_HK. That's sunset_studio_HK. Folks, the websites and description will be in the description. All the discount codes will be there for you. Please check them out and support our wonderful sponsors. Hey, hockey fans, welcome to Across the Pond Hockey Talks. My special guest today is making her return to the show. We're just looking back. It was May 2020, the last time we spoke, and a whole lot has happened in her life since then. At the time, she was playing professional hockey in Shenzhen with the Vancouver Rays. And since then, she's played in the Olympics. She's won a world championship, and she signed a contract in the PHF, which is the North American Women's Professional Hockey League. Recently an all-star. Please welcome back to the podcast, Miss Leah Lum. Leah, how you doing this? How you doing this morning?
Doing well. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you. It's been a while.
It has been. And yes, like you said, a lot has happened.
A lot.
Doesn't feel that long though ago.
No, I know. I mean, it's been good to keep in touch with you throughout your journey. And I've been wanting to have you back since the Olympics. And it was such a special time, I know, for you and your life and your career. And we were just so excited. Like, I remember watching the games at whatever time of day it was. Actually, it wasn't bad. But just getting excited watching you guys play. And it was such a really cool journey that your team went on. So let's get right into that, because I think it's a great way to kick it off. You were named to the Chinese Olympic team and being hosted in Beijing. I mean, just an incredible experience and also a boat ton of pressure. Talk to me a little bit about the journey and the process of being selected to play for Team China.
Yeah, well, the journey started 4 years ago when I signed with KRS. That was kind of the whole ultimate goal. They said, you might have a chance to play for the Olympics, and then every single year you're like, okay, like it's gonna happen. And then finally that September rolled around and I had a really good off season and got on the flight to Russia. Um, and that's when the whole season kind of just took off and it started becoming more real as each month went on.
Yeah.
And you're just playing the games. And that season was kind of a little bit different. It started off with us playing the final games against UFA from the season
Right,
prior
because of the
because of
lockout
COVID.
or because of the COVID
Right.
lockout. Yeah.
Because of COVID. So we had a team come to Russia quickly and we had to play those final games without barely any practice and we
Right.
ended up losing, but it was a super fun experience. I got to meet so many new girls, one of which is my roommate this year.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. But yeah, just from there, and then we competed in the league as a national team, which was cool.
Yeah.
And completely different from all the years previous.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was super cool. And then as we got closer and closer and closer, this was the first year I didn't even come home for Christmas.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
So yeah, we were told that we're just gonna go straight to China,
Mm-hmm.
and do the quarantine and everything before going into the Olympic Village. So right when Christmas rolled around, we had a nice team Christmas in the hotel, and then the 27th hit, and we were off to China, and that's when it was like, oh my goodness,
It's
okay,
really
we're
happening.
going. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all looking at each other like it's really happening. Like we're
Yeah.
going to China
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
That's really cool. I
Um,
mean, my wife and I remember watching the opening ceremonies and seeing you guys come in, and then seeing the first game and just the excitement around it and the build up
yeah,
towards ice hockey being, hosted by China, and whether or not the national teams, the men's team was going to even be able to compete.
right.
How good was the women's team going to be? There was just so many question marks. And what was that feeling like for you walking into that arena?
That just the first few steps, like going from the quarantine in China just because of the rules and everything, and then finally being free once as soon as we stepped foot in that Olympic Village, we're all just like it took our breaths away, honestly, when we
Yeah.
were like, oh my goodness. Because for me in the 2010 Olympics, and I was in grade 8, I think, at
Mm-hmm.
that time, and just when I walk around at home and see the Olympic Village and stuff, and then going to the Beijing 2022 Olympics and stepping foot in the Olympic Village, and you're
Yeah.
like, wow,
This
I'm
is for me.
here. This is
Yeah.
for me this time. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you're just, you're just like, it sends chills down your whole body. And
Absolutely.
you're walking around with everybody and you see all the other top athletes from all the different sports around you. And
Mhm.
it was the most incredible feeling just going into that Olympic Village, and then you see your room and all the different buildings with the team flags up it. So you know which building is for who. And
Mhm.
it's so hard to explain,
Yeah, I can only imagine.
just the feeling you get, and
Yeah.
it's like it's just the most incredible thing that I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a few stories, some good, some bad, some crazy, but
Yeah.
it can be a wild time there, and I'm
Oh
sure
yeah.
you experience all sides of that. But just to
Oh
get
yeah.
to the hockey,
Yeah.
I mean, what were the expectations like? What, like, inside the dressing room? What were you guys thinking was going to happen? What was your team expectations? Because the media and everything
Yeah.
else was so closed off about it, and just assumed there was a lot of pressure in there.
Yeah. I think there was definitely a lot of pressure, but at the same time, I don't think we had as much pressure as all the other teams just because this was, yeah, we were hosting it and that's kind of how this all happened. But um, there was actually less pressure than I thought, or maybe we all thought,
Hmm.
just based on, you're here and you just got to do your job and do your best. And that's kind of what we did. And I don't know, it's different. Like, especially just if you're Team Canada, like you're kind of expected
Yeah,
to either win or at least make it to the gold medal game. But as China, we were like, okay, like all we got to do is just give it our best shot. Like we know we're good hockey players. We have a good club.
yeah,
Like this could actually go really well.
I know.
We just
It
have to
all
believe
it
it. We just have
almost
to
did.
believe in ourselves.
It was
I
so
know.
close, so
I
close.
know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we were just like, listen, like this is for the past 4 years, this is what the buildup was for.
Yeah.
And now we're here. So everybody just kind of take it in, live in the moment, and
Yeah.
just, do our best, because we knew we were confident in each other.
Yeah.
And honestly, we did have a pretty great showing. So
You really did. I mean, you were such your guys' team was so impressive to watch. It was just such a hardworking team, and honest team. I can't remember her name right now, but the captain, she
you
just
by way.
yeah, she just wore her heart on her sleeve. She was such a pleasure to watch. And I mean,
Yeah.
watching that first goal go in for Team China, come on.
It was incredible. And even too, we knew that because of COVID, the arena wasn't going to be full.
Yeah.
But there were definitely a lot more people in there than we thought there was
Yeah.
going to be. So when that first goal went in, and the crowd actually like erupted, like it
Yeah.
was insanity. It was
Yeah.
so cool. But yeah, like you said, you by way, and honestly, all the Chinese girls, this is their dream too.
Of course.
We're all
Yeah.
kind of living like, and seeing her, and she would break down after every game, just
Yeah.
just being there, especially when the Japan game happened, like all of them, they're just like, they would come up to us and be like, thank you so much for help. Like this, obviously it's one of their biggest rivals, and
Yeah.
to win that game, that meant so much to them. So like seeing
Yeah.
them, they're getting teary eyed, we're all
I
getting
know.
teary eyed. Oh,
It was really
it was an
special.
emotional roller coaster.
I
Yeah.
can only imagine. Really special moment for the program, for women's hockey in general. And I
Yeah.
mean, putting Asian women's hockey on the map for a lot of people, because I mean, to have the teams play at that level,
Yeah.
competing with the North American teams and the European teams now is pretty special and pretty cool
Yeah.
to be a part of.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It was awesome, and honestly too, like our first game against Czech. I mean, if we could have, played that game over, I think a lot of us were gripping our sticks so tight
Hmm.
that first couple minutes. Like I was so nervous. I probably,
Yeah.
as soon as I got the puck, I probably was like so jittery,
Yeah.
just like, am I actually here right now?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, all the games were just so special to be a part of, and just being there,
Yeah.
playing against the top athletes of every country was just a moment
So
that I'll never forget.
yeah, I'm sure. I mean, an experience you'll never
Yeah.
forget. Maybe you'll get to do it again someday.
Oh,
Who knows?
yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
That's the goal always. So, I mean, overall Olympic experience, can you sum it up, or is there a special moment, or maybe
Oh boy.
maybe a funny story or two?
Um, Honestly, it'd probably be impossible to try and sum up that whole experience. But I would say probably one of my favorite memories is the opening ceremonies. I know as a kid and with my parents at home, every time the Olympics are on, I for some reason I'm always tuned in to the opening ceremonies and watching everybody walk out of the tunnel and seeing all the country's flags. So
Mhm.
to be on the other side of things, and as we walked in, you walk down the tunnel, you walk down the stairs. People are almost tripping because you're just like looking up, and you don't even realize there's stairs below. You're like, oh my
Right.
God.
Yeah.
And then you look up, and it's just like the massive Olympic rings and the bird's nest. And it was
Hmm.
actually pretty full too. And then the China flag shows up on the screens, and you're just like, oh my goodness. Like
Wow.
you look around and you're taking it in. You're like, that's when it kind of hit you too. You're just like, I'm here right now too.
Yeah.
Oh, it was that moment was really surreal for me, just because I'm always watching on TV.
Awesome.
Funny story though. So after
Yeah.
that, there's obviously the pin exchanges.
Hmm.
Um, and after the ceremonies, a group of us were walking out. They were texting us like, "Okay, meet back at the bus." We're like, "Okay, we're gonna go meet back at the bus," and we're trading pins with each other. We go back outside, and we start walking in between buses to go towards our bus. And when you're walking by Team USA or Team Canada, you can tell the outfits. They're so decked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these two people from Team USA start walking towards us, and they're pretty far right now. We're like, hey, and all of a sudden, like for some reason, like I look at a couple of my teammates. I'm just like, what if that's Sean White? And so we keep walking. We keep walking. They walk by us. It was Sean. It was Sean
No
White, and
way.
then so he walks by us. We walk by them.
Yeah.
And then it's like a moment of realization. We all look at each other like, oh my God, that was Sean White. And then
Yeah.
we turn around, we're like, hey, like Sean White, you want to exchange a pic?
Oh no. I
Sorry, you
can't.
cut out there for a sec.
I know it just happened again. So you were just saying
All
about
good.
you were just about to say you turned around to take a picture with Shaun White. So just take off from there and we'll get this fixed up.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. No, so we had walked by him and then it was the moment of realization that you're looking and we look at each other like that was Shaun White. So we
Yeah.
turned around, we're like, hey Shaun, like, can we get a picture with you? You want to trade pins or he's like, yeah, absolutely, like no problem. And I didn't obviously I didn't know like that he was literally probably like the same height as me. I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
this guy is so he's such a cool human being too. I'm like,
Yeah.
so I actually have a pin, USA snowboarding pin from Shaun White that I will be
Awesome.
keeping forever. And whenever I show people my lanyard with all the
Yeah.
pins, I'm like, yeah, this one is from Shaun White.
Yeah. The goat, Shaun White. That's
Yeah, and that
incredible.
was his last Olympics too.
That's
So
right. I know. Were there any other
that was a
athletes
cool
that you
moment.
met that you were like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm standing beside them right now?
Um, a couple of the girls saw Marc McMorris,
Yeah.
Canadian snowboard legend.
Yes. Yeah.
I never ran into him, but for me as a hockey player, I think whenever I run into Mary Philippe Poulin,
Yeah.
I think I snapped a picture with her. That was pretty cool for me, and just the hockey world's so small, so
Hmm.
I feel like she knows who I am. So just got into a little bit of conversation with her, but for me, that's like, oh my god, like
Yeah, absolutely.
just for the hockey parts of things, I'm like, that's someone I look up to and whatever. So the fact that she, took time out of her day to have a little chat with me, that was super cool. But no, didn't run into anyone else of elite status.
Yeah. Well, I
But
mean,
yeah.
was there anything else that happened there that might have surprised you? Or like anything about the village that maybe would have shocked you a little bit? Something like the amount of food that
Um
was there, or I've heard some
no,
pretty
I
good
think
stories.
yeah, I mean the dining hall, I've heard different stories too from different countries,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think for us it was completely different just because we were in quarantine for so long
Oh,
and
right.
we
That's
were
right.
getting, you know, food brought to our door in plastic bags for a whole month pretty
Right.
much. So we were like the freedom of just going to the dining hall and picking out your own food, even if it was subpar. We were like, this
Yeah.
is amazing. So
Right.
we enjoyed the food, but I've heard stories. But no, I think a lot of us ended up being pretty much going running on KFC and Pizza Hut.
Oh
That was
gosh.
one of the main sponsors too, down
Of course.
in the little hall area. So
Yeah.
if no one wanted to eat the dining hall food, we'd be like, all right, we're going to Pizza and
Yeah. And for
KFC. Com
those of you back in North America, they're probably the top, besides McDonald's, the top two most popular fast food restaurants in Asia.
I all of us just joke about like, yeah, let's
Yeah.
get a combo A. Like
Oh
even back in North
gosh.
America, we're like combo A's. Oh, I'll never forget a combo A.
Yeah,
Jeez.
well,
But no, nothing. I think Beijing they did a very good job of making it as normal as possible
yeah,
with the circumstances they were in, especially it being in China and how strict they were with COVID.
yeah.
Yeah, I've heard stories of people getting COVID and they're getting food brought to their doors and it just being like rock solid. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, the
there's horror
burgers and
stories.
stuff.
A lot of horror
But
stories.
thankfully that didn't happen to any of us. But yeah, just one story is I guess you had to get COVID tested every day.
Yeah.
You had to get a swab, and once games started, I don't even know if I should be saying this, but
Yeah.
once games started, we were like, okay, let's be a little bit strategic here, just in case. So like, if we had the 7 o'clock games every time, just from being the host country.
Hmm.
So we're like, okay, you have to be tested before 11 o'clock each night. If our game's at 7, we'll be back by 9:30, 10. We have an hour window to get
To get your
tested.
test
So
in. Yeah.
every time we'll test after the game, just in like you don't want to test before and then
Yeah, test positive.
miraculously it'll be positive and then you can't play the game. So like, okay, everyone just test after. There's a group of us we'd always do it. We just rather
That's funny.
do that, be able to play the game and then get tested after. So
Weren't
that
there
was
some
the little
issues with that? There were a couple teams that had players test positive, like in the middle of a game, they get called off the ice. Didn't that happen?
I never heard a story about that, but I know
Oh,
the Russian team got hit pretty hard, and
oh,
then
that's what it
there was a
was. It
little
was
bit
the
of a
Russian team. Yeah,
controversy with them in Canada not wanting to play the game, that
that's
they're
what it
not going to wear
was.
masks or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of masks,
So,
we get to take ours off tomorrow in Hong Kong for the first time.
oh man, I was gonna
Yeah.
ask you how has it been over there?
I mean, life goes on for like it didn't really affect our lives all
Yeah,
that much. We wore masks.
right.
We did rat tests for work or for events or
Yeah,
to play music or whatever it was, but everything's fully functioning. We just couldn't travel. And now the travel's
yeah,
open and like things are back to normal or getting back to normal, I
that's
should say.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
The masks is a big thing.
slowly but surely.
Yeah. Take like we've been wearing masks for way too long.
Oh, I bet,
I've
especially
had
over there. I
I've had
mean,
students for 2 years. I don't know what they look like.
oh,
Like honestly, I've only ever seen them with a mask on.
yeah.
But anyway,
Oh, that's crazy.
yeah, it's been pretty good that things are changing.
Yeah,
And
that's good.
so the Olympics, obviously, congratulations. It went off without a hitch. You guys did incredible. It was a really fun to
Yeah,
watch
thanks.
you and keep in touch with you during that time. It was really, really exciting. So
Yeah,
after that, you guys went on to basically dominate the World Championships Women's 1B division.
yeah.
Yourself included. You got 15 points in 5 games. You guys went 5-0. Tell me a little bit about that tournament. And was that kind of like, the Olympics was kind of a springboard to that success, or was that success coming no matter what?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think again we knew that we had a pretty good team.
Mhm.
Um, and that the other teams that we were facing, I don't know, we didn't really have much knowledge or whatever. We were
Yeah.
gonna go to Poland and play some hockey. We're like, all
Yeah.
right. Which is also one of the coolest countries I've ever been to. We got
Yeah.
to tour around a little bit and, go see all the um I, the one place it took my breath away as well. We actually went to go visit Auschwitz.
Oh,
So
wow.
that was very heavy.
I can imagine.
Very, very hard to explain, but
Yep.
a very cool experience to see with your
Hmm.
own eyes and just the history and
Yeah.
all that. And just, it really grounds you
100%.
into, don't take anything for granted in life. And it's
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
that was very eye opening for all of us that went there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the hockey, I think the Olympics definitely sprung us into, having confidence in our team and whatnot. We didn't have everybody with us from the Olympics, but
Hmm.
yeah, we still had a really good showing and we had a lot of fun. Um, we had Clayton ended up coaching us that tournament, but yeah, I don't know. We were just there. We were having fun, and we had a bit job,
Hmm.
right, business to do, so
Yeah.
we took care of it pretty good.
So yeah, you
But
obviously
yeah,
you guys dominated. What does that do? What does that do for Team China? Like in the standings or in the world rankings? What's next for them?
so yeah, you said that was Group
That was 1B, I believe. Right.
1B, so I think we're in 1A,
Hmm.
which is still a couple below the top.
Right.
Um, yeah, I was actually supposed to be in Shenzhen this year in April, or yeah, April.
Hmm.
But I think they're in the midst of talks right now. Just it might be postponed just because of COVID or whatever. But
Yeah.
no, it definitely for China. I think it's another huge step.
Hmm.
Just the fact that we had such a good showing too.
Yeah.
Um, it really elevates just that hockey China is here to compete,
Yeah. It's
and
amazing
and
how
that's the
that.
main message pretty much. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So you guys went there, you dominate the world championships. Were you all the time? Did you have an idea you were going to be making the move to North America to play in the PHF, or did that opportunity just come after your success?
No, not really, honestly. After the Olympics, I honestly didn't even want to think about hockey for a little bit. And then Worlds came around and they're like, okay, we're gonna have a camp in Vancouver. It's like perfect. My hometown, didn't really have to
Hmm.
go anywhere. And then went to Worlds, had a super, super great time
Hmm.
with everybody and just visited that country. And then went back home and I actually decided to, because the WHL was still going on in Russia,
Yep.
but also all the other events were also happening within the whole country.
Hmm.
Um, and I was just, I don't know, I made a personal decision to not go back and finish the season.
Yeah.
Um, and so I went home and I honestly just hung my gear up, didn't think about hockey, didn't want to do anything remotely around hockey for a little bit. Just wanted to, do everything but the
Yeah.
sport.
Right.
And kind of just, I don't know, I felt like I hit my goal of going to the Olympics and, winning the world championship in that division.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I need to just
You need a break.
live my own life, need a break. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. Just, do everything, just hang with my dog, go on walks with my dog, go
Yeah.
on walks with my family, just hang out with everybody. Because the life the past 8 months was so taxing.
Yeah. I can
Um,
imagine. Yeah.
yeah, and so a break was much needed and everything. And then after a few months went by, I was like, all right, my friends are putting a beer league together. I'm like, let's play. It's
Hmm.
it's with all my high school friends. I haven't played with them in so long. Like this
Hmm.
is just for fun now, strictly fun.
Yeah.
Being back with all my well, my best friends all on the same team. Like
Yeah.
what more could you ask for? So
Yeah.
I spent the whole summer just training, hanging out with family, friends, and my dog, and playing beer league.
Nice.
But yeah, I did not think um, about what I was going to do until probably late May, June, which is honestly very late.
Hmm.
And then it started to really come around. I'm like, okay, I should probably figure out what my life is going to be.
Hmm.
Um, and I knew a couple of people in Toronto. I played with Elaine, played with Emma Woods. I knew
Hmm.
Shy. I knew Mick was going to come back here. Um, and then obviously everyone on the team you either played against, played with, or just know of. That's how
Yeah.
small the hockey world is.
Right.
And so I hopped on the call with Elaine, and she was just selling. The girl was just
Yeah.
selling the team, and I was like, "Hey, listen, that's great. It sounds like an amazing opportunity." Um, but I was also still under contract with KRS, so I couldn't
Right.
really do much. But I just wanted to keep options open, and I was happy to hop on a call with Elaine and just get her perspective of things and whatnot. And then August rolled around, and I was my contract had finally ended, and I was in talks with the GM from KRS and the coaches and everything. And I said, I'm gonna make a personal decision. Like this has nothing to do with KRS or the national team. Like I still want to
Yeah.
be a part of it. I just want to make a personal decision and do something for me this time.
Yeah.
And so I signed with the Toronto Six, and honestly, I couldn't have been happier. It's been an amazing transition. I've absolutely loved it so far.
That's awesome. And just to go back,
Yeah.
just to touch on what you just said, do you think it's going to affect your status with the Chinese national team, or is there still going to be positive
Um,
relationship there?
no, I've tried to keep communication open. I
Yeah.
told them to just want just open communication. Let me know if there's anything. And obviously, I said I still want to be a part of all the competitions that they're going to go into. Worlds
Hmm.
was the one coming up, and yeah. So no, I don't think it will. And as long as we keep that communication going, and
Good. Good, good.
so
Keep that going.
yeah,
Keep that going.
yeah.
So back to your team, the Toronto Six, you guys, Sammy Joe Small, president, former Canadian Olympian. I'm seeing some pretty big names in your guys' program. Tell me a little bit about it. Obviously, this is a new league. A lot of people don't know about the PHF. It's right now, it's the top professional women's league in North
Yeah.
America at the moment. So tell me a little bit about it. Tell me about the organization and the Toronto Six.
Yeah, the Toronto Six, I think this is their third season, I believe, in the league.
Hmm.
And there's some girls on the team who have been here from the start who have, brought up this program. So it's
Yeah.
kind of cool to have hopped in here and kind of join them and help build the organization. Yeah, we're based we play out of Canada, York, so
Hmm.
just north of the city. Oh, pretty nice setup. Yeah, we have a great. Honestly, this is we have a great group of girls this year. It's probably one of the most teams I've ever been on
Yeah.
in a long, long time. And it's awesome that you have when you have such a tight knit group, both on and off the ice. It's so rare to have
Right.
that type of chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the organization is going, I mean, the whole league is going in the right direction. And it's just going to keep building and building. And especially with the salary cap increase, I think it's going in a very positive direction.
That's good to hear.
Especially for a women's professional sport.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, and I think that was a huge key too. I think coming back to North America, having to build my own brand back over here, where it'd probably be a little bit more known compared to being overseas. I think that's what I just wanted to do too. And I knew that Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
you just say Toronto and you just think of how big the hockey hub is
Of
here.
course. Yeah, of course. And I mean, you
So
mentioned some players that you played with before. Had you played with Brittany? Yeah, you mentioned Emma Woods, some pretty high-end talent.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I haven't played with Howard, but I've literally played against all of them, whether
Yeah,
that was
at
with
one point.
KRS and they were on Toronto Furies.
Yeah.
And they travel back and forth too from China and North America. So
Okay.
I think I've played against everybody on this team, which is kind
Mm-hmm.
of cool now that we're all on the
Yeah.
same team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's awesome. And then yeah, just coming to play for Toronto and how big of a hockey city this is, or I
Yep.
guess province. It's just hockey 24/7. It's awesome.
Well, your team,
Um,
your team is on a little bit of a heater. You guys only have a couple games left in the season, and you're
yeah,
absolutely dominating.
yeah, absolutely. I think we knew from the first practice, we knew we had a pretty good team. We have a lot of depth up
Mm-hmm.
front. Um, so and we knew it was going to be a fun season no matter what. Just with the
Mm-hmm.
group that we have, um, we're all so close. We were all so close, literally from the first couple of weeks, which again is just so rare having everybody on board. Everyone has so much fun together. So yeah, we have two more games left against Boston. That's going to be probably one of the most fun series
Mm-hmm.
um, to end off on, just for the regular season. And I have my aunt and my uncle will be out here as well to watch me.
Sweet.
My uncle's a huge fan. He watches all the games when he's at home, so
Oh,
I'm
that's
excited for
good.
them to be out here.
Awesome. So you got a couple games left in the season, and so it's a 7-team league. It looks
Yeah.
like, yeah, you guys in Boston seem to be the top two teams. What's the structure of the league for when, as far as playoffs?
Right now, so after the regular season, the weekend after, I think it's middle of March, it'll be top four teams playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
1 and 4 versus, and then 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be a 3 game best of 3 game series, and then the championship game will be the next following weekend. And it's going to be a one game takes all, but they haven't
Wow.
announced the location yet.
Okay.
So be on the lookout for that. I think it
Cool.
should be coming out soon, which will be yeah, it's going to be I guess like central location. Both teams are going to fly to it, and
Mm-hmm.
it'll be kind of cool.
Awesome. I'm one game winner take all. That's it. That's I mean,
Yeah, it's interesting.
that's interesting. Yeah, that's a good word to explain it, because I don't know if
Definitely,
I don't know how
yeah,
I feel about that, to be honest. Is that going to
yeah.
be? It's exciting.
It is exciting. I have to leave everything on the line, but
Exactly. Yeah.
everyone knows that the game of hockey can go in every which direction.
Yeah. One bad
If
break, bad bounce.
it's yeah, if the hockey gods aren't on your team that
Yeah.
game, it can go completely array. So
Yeah.
yeah, one game is definitely interesting, but I mean, then again, it just makes the stakes so much higher
Yeah.
for
I
that
mean,
one game.
that's what I'm thinking. It'll be a really exciting game to see. I'm sure it'll be
Yeah.
televised.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so the daily grind, what's the and also the level of the league, if you were to compare the WHL,
Yeah.
which is the women's professional league here, the Russian professional league. How would you compare the level of hockey with the PHF?
I would say the PHF's definitely a lot faster. I think I noticed that right off the bat
Mm-hmm.
when I played my first game. Um, our home ice actually is an Olympic size sheet, so it's a little bit bigger than all the other teams that we play. So there's definitely a lot more space when we play at
Yeah.
home. But when we go to an NHL size rink, it's the speed is just a lot quicker. You definitely have to make decisions a lot faster and
Yeah.
whatnot. But whereas in the WHL, I feel like a lot of European countries definitely harp on, possession of the puck, and it's more of it's still gritty and tough, but like I think the Russians definitely like to finesse. There's more finesse in,
Yeah.
in their
Different
in their
style.
style of play, and yeah,
It's a
which
stereotype,
which
but
is
it's still true.
it, yeah, which is not a problem. I mean,
No,
it's
it's
just
not a
different.
problem. It's just different.
You
Yeah.
just have to, yeah, and then you just have to adapt your game to it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's definitely a lot faster, and the decision making is a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it. It's still physical, and it's fun, and it's fun coming back. And I have friends on pretty much every team that's here, so being able to play against all of them again is has been super fun.
That's sweet. So it's a shorter season, 24 games.
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
what's the daily grind or the weekly grind? What's your schedule like?
yeah. So for us, it's practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then all the games this year, depending on your schedule. For us, it's every Saturday, Sunday is a game.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, just Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice. Usually I'll either take the train,
Hmm.
super convenient, especially with Toronto traffic. I actually love the train.
Yeah, yeah. You'd want to avoid that traffic.
But so yeah, I'll take the train up. We'll have workout and we'll hop on the ice and do our meetings, and then back into the city with my roommate Michaela Cava, who will end up driving me back in, or I'll hop in with Brooke, who lives across the street from us. Um,
If you're complaining about traffic as someone who lived in China, then you know it's bad.
oh, I know. I'm like, you guys don't even know.
Yeah.
But compared to Vancouver, I'm like, okay, this is
This
insane.
is nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your schedule's a little lighter. How many people have other jobs, and are you guys able to make a living?
Um, yeah, I think a good chunk of the girls have other jobs this year, but um personally for me, I was gonna take the year off of I just sorry, let me
Yeah.
rephrase that. I just
Yeah.
wanted to focus on hockey and life in
Hmm.
general, I guess. So I didn't want to have another job.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of just like living life right now, I guess you could
Hmm.
say.
Nothing wrong with
But yeah,
that.
oh, absolutely. But
Yeah.
for the other girls at work, um, honestly, you have to give a lot of respect to those girls. You know, it's basically like having two jobs, and they make
Yeah.
it work.
Yeah.
Um, and then like again, like I said before, with the salary increase, we're gonna hope that people with jobs, it'll slowly decrease,
Yeah.
and that everybody can kind of just focus in on hockey and
Yeah.
that be their main
That's gotta
priority.
go. And you deserve to
Yeah,
be paid fairly. And I mean, I really hope that happens sooner than later because
absolutely. I
it's
mean,
time.
yeah, yeah, and again, it's going in the right direction. I
Yeah.
think each year is just going to be a more positive increase in that, and I'm excited to see where it goes in a couple of years, especially for generations to come. They wouldn't
Yeah.
even have to think about it, especially coming out of college or whatnot, and they're just going to be like, I'm going to be a professional hockey player,
Yeah.
which is going to be so cool.
Yeah. I
And that,
mean,
like,
come
that's going to
on.
be their dream, and it's going to
Yeah.
be exactly what it is. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's going to be awesome, and I'm excited that I'm here and I can be a part of the change and the positive growing of the sport.
Good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah,
So happy for you. I'm not going to keep you too long. I know it's pretty early morning for you.
all good, all the time.
But I want to touch on the most recent events in your life, which was the All-Star experience.
Yeah,
Tell me a little bit about that. It looked like you were having quite a bit of fun out there.
it oh fun is an understatement. That
Yeah.
was a very fun weekend. And the fact that I was in Toronto at the
Yeah.
Mattamy, which is the old Maple Leaf Garden,
Hmm.
um, was super cool and a really cool venue to play in. And that's where our playoffs are going to be actually.
Oh, sweet.
yeah, so that's going to be also really cool. But yeah, so there are three teams, Team USA, Team Canada, and Team World, and I got
Yeah.
put on Team World, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I got to meet all teammates, and we're all from different countries, and that was super cool.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I'll get to the celebration. I'm sure
Yeah,
you've seen that all over
I
the
saw
place.
the Sally. I'm interested, but I have it written down. It's in my phone right here. It's coming
Oh
up.
yeah. Um,
You scored a
so
beauty
yeah,
goal, by the way, so it deserved a
thank
Sally.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, during we had a morning skate before the actual event, and I don't even know, during one of the drills I saw one of the Czech girls, she puts her stick on her head, and then
Yeah.
two or three of the other girls started doing it, and then we go up to them, we're like, what is that, like, what are you guys doing? And I guess it's just to kind of lighten the mood if someone does something funny or like trips over the blue line, like just something that is unorthodox in hockey
Right.
or whatever,
Okay.
or like whiffs on a shot.
Right. Just
And
kind of a little dig
yeah, and it's just,
in a
I
fun
guess,
way.
to lighten the mood or just have fun with it. They all
Yeah.
just put their sticks on their head, is what one of the girls says. So I'm like, okay.
Mm.
And in our group chat before the game, we're like, let's make this our celebration, but everyone's got to do it.
Oh, yeah.
The people on the bench and the people on the ice.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, that could be kind of fun.
Yeah.
And so I guess, yeah, I was the first person to score the goal. And then the first thing that pops into my head, I'm like, oh my God, let's
Gotta
go.
do it.
And so the stick just goes up, and I saw Fanny do it right behind me.
Yeah.
And then we were going to the bench, and everyone's doing it. Oh, it was just so much fun. We're like, that's something to kind of get the crowd into it too.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think we were definitely the favorites to hopefully win that tournament, but we ended up falling short to Team Canada. But
Yeah.
I will say one cool thing about from that experience is um, we got a text message the next weekend in our world team group chat, and it was a youth team somewhere around the GTA, and a youth girls team. They had scored and they had done the celly,
Oh, sweet.
and it's like we were capturing eyes all over the world pretty much. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, that is so cool that other like little girls now are now doing this, and
that is
I don't know,
awesome.
it's kind of like a feel good moment that
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
and people, if you want to go back and watch all the highlights are on YouTube. You can watch each game, each 3-on-3 game, which is
Yeah,
pretty
it
cool.
was a fun, yeah, it was definitely a fun little event, good setup, just small little games, and the energy and everything was really cool.
Yeah, so you mentioned a lot of eyes on you and a lot of young ladies watching you guys play hockey. I've got a niece who's quite a good little hockey player. Her name's Bria, and she's playing in just outside of St. John's, Newfoundland, for a U11 boys team, and she's the only girl on the team. She's having a great season. Her team just won a tournament in Montreal. I just wanted to get your advice, basically. What would you say to someone who's she's about to turn 10 in her situation.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
yeah,
Well, happy early birthday, first of all.
yeah,
But yeah, I think that's amazing for her to be able to do that. I mean, I started playing boys hockey as well when I was 4, and I played up until I was 14, I think.
yeah.
With the boys as well, usually the only girl on their team too.
Hmm.
And it's great that she's on a team that is as inviting as they are.
Yes.
And don't base it on because she's a girl she can't play with us.
Yeah.
So that's obviously a good positive thing too. But no, like you just said, she's a super, good player, and all she has to do is just focus on her and her game, and just keep
Hmm.
doing what she's doing, and no matter what happens, if you get knocked down, get back up and go hit those boys.
Yes,
like
exactly.
you like you're she's probably better than half of them anyways.
Yeah, I think she is. I think she's
So
one of the better players on the team from the sounds of it. She's like,
exactly. So it doesn't matter when you're that young, and you're having fun with it, and you have a good team around you who boosts you up too. Especially when you're the only girl on the team.
yeah.
Yeah, just keep working hard. And
Hmm.
even if I was always the smallest kid, or one of the smallest kids on my teams, but at that point, then you just play bigger. You have a bigger heart, and you play so much stronger, and you
Hmm.
have so much more energy, and you're like, I'm gonna beat these boys.
Yes, that's amazing.
Um, Yeah, so yeah, she's gonna do awesome, and that's so awesome that she's in boys hockey. It just makes her tougher too. That's
That's right.
awesome. But yeah, just keep going, keep working hard, keep believing in yourself. That's the main thing, and she'll do great.
Yeah, thanks, Leah. And yeah, so shout out to the Mount Pro Blades.
Awesome. Yeah, good luck with the rest of your season.
Yeah. So you have a busy schedule coming up with playoffs, and are you planning? What's your contract like? What's next for you? What do the next couple of years look like?
Yeah, I only signed a 1 year with the Sixth. So that'll be obviously done by the end of the season. Obviously thought about the next steps, but haven't really gotten into that yet. So not sure. We'll see what happens, especially just I don't know with what KRS and all them are doing. I definitely liked and really enjoyed my time being back in North America. So I think we'll try and stay on this side of the pond.
Well, you couldn't have said it any better.
Yeah.
So I wish you the best of luck. I really hope that things work out for you back home and you continue to play and your game continues to improve. You seem to be performing at a really high level, and so I wish you guys the best. I hope you can hoist a championship and City of Toronto. I mean, there could be two there this year.
I know. Yeah, they just picked up O'Reilly too. Like,
yeah,
it's been fun to watch them. So I've been to a couple of games. Definitely not a Leafs fan yet. My roommate hates it.
Yeah.
Every time that whoever the Leafs play, I'm always just cheering for the other team. But no, they're a fun team to watch, and it's a fun market to kind of be.
There must be a pretty good buzz around the city around the Leafs right now.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for playoffs and kind of just see how the city erupts here. So that'll be a fun experience as well.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. Leah, I'm sure you remember we have a segment in the program called Overtime, where I'm going to ask you some quick one-timer questions. I believe I have all different questions from the last time, but if I repeat one, then hey, what can I do?
All right, sounds good.
All right, so we'll be following Leah. We'll leave a description or a link in our description on YouTube, so you guys can follow her as well and keep an eye on your career. And wishing you nothing but the best. All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. So here we go. Habs or Leafs?
Habs.
Lemieux or Gretzky? Yes.
Gretzky.
Probert or Domi?
Domi.
Waugh or Brodeur?
Ooh, I'll go Brodeur.
Marie-Philippe Poulin or Alex Carpenter?
MPP.
Claude Lemieux or Brad Marchand?
Marchand.
Yzerman or Messier?
Yzerman.
Bowman or Burns?
Burns.
Ron or Don?
Oh, Ron. Ron for sure.
Shootout or no shootout?
Shootout.
There you have it, folks. The great Leah Lum. Thank you so much for your time tonight, and we'll be following along with your career, and we wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you so much for having me back on the podcast. We'll have to do it another couple of years.
This sounds good. We'll definitely make it happen. That was Across the Pond, and that's a wrap.
Thank you to our amazing sponsors, the China Hockey Group, Wheel Hub Asia, AccessoryHouseGlobal.com, Yardley Brothers Beer, and of course, Sunset Studio. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Across the Pond HK. Email us, send in your comments and questions to the show at any time at acrossthepondhk@gmail.com.